Welcome back to another major award edition of Talking a Christmas Story with the cast, and I am your host, Yano Anaya, also known as that nasty little toady, Grover Dill from the movie A Christmas Story. And today we are going to be celebrating the very first season of our show. We have laughed a lot and maybe even shed a lot of tears. And most importantly, we have brought the A Christmas Story family together under one podcast roof to speak about the movie and also all the things that brought us joy over the last 40 years from the movie. But listeners of the show know that's not all that we really talked about. You know, our conversations always start with the movie, but over this season, we've tackled much deeper topics, from the importance of tradition to the future of storytelling. And today we're going to actually bring some of our favorite pieces all together and get all of you guys super excited about the next season to come. So if this is your first listen to our podcast, welcome. This is our perfect place to start and get a sense of the kinds of conversations we've had with our guests. And if you've heard all of our episodes, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being a super fan. We're glad that you are here to help us reminisce about this movie. And don't forget to share your favorite moments from the season with us. So go ahead and comment down below, your favorite listening times on our YouTube channel. Or drop us a line in our awesome Facebook group. Just search for A Christmas Story Family on Facebook, and you can join in all of the fun and nostalgia. Now, on with the show. So I want to begin reaching back into our vaults and talking about our very first episodes. I was super fortunate for those very first interviews to be joined by people that are very near and dear to my heart. I believe that together we laid the foundation for what this show has actually become. I got to interview some of my favorite cast brothers from the movie. Ian Petrella, who played Ralphie's little brother, Randy. Zach Ward, who played the big bully, Scott Farkas. And Scotty Schwartz, who played Ralphie's buddy, Blick. Now, we reminisced and told behind-the-scenes stories, and you can't find that anywhere else. And I think what makes it so special is that it's me talking to my old buddies about a shared experience 40 years ago, not just from an outsider asking you typical interview questions. I'd like to share some clips with you from those episodes with Ian and Zach and Scotty.
The one thing I say is, the way I see it is I'm not, I've never seen myself as famous. I've never seen myself as a celebrity, so to speak. I always considered myself a person who's in a famous movie. And that's how I see it. And that's what's important is the movie. So if you're a fan of this movie and you love this movie, do whatever you can to keep the movie alive. Show it to your family and pass it on to future generations. And that's the best you could do. Because we're humans and we're people and we live our everyday lives. And eventually we're all going to, go away in some way or another. But the movie's going to live on.
And so Yano and his mom and Peter and his mom and me and my mom, we went to Niagara Falls and it was frozen. It was so cool. It looked like something from a Disney.
From Frozen.
Yeah, looked like Frozen. And icicles that were I can't even show you. But icicles that were like 3 feet around and 20 feet high.
Yes.
Because the mist that came off the falls just coated everything in ice. And it was awesome. So we hung out a very small amount, but 99% of the time, Bob wanted us to stay separate from Peter to create that tension that Peter didn't get overly familiar with us. And I think it worked really well. Playing the role of the bully, I got into 8 different schools before junior high. So I have been bullied a lot. My mom was an actress. I traveled to different cities, different towns with her. And I was always a new kid and in different schools. New kid. Named Zach. There were no other Zachs back then. Red hair. And then miniature poodle named Tinkerbell.
You were an eyesore, right?
I was eating away like that. They're like, kill him. It's like one of those Frankenstein movies where you have the villagers all gather together with like pitchfork, so you leave torches and be like, kill the beast.
That was you.
I got through that a lot of times. I got through that a lot of times watching other kids assert their position of dominance and get familiar with what that was like.
Richard taught me this. It was, again,
Pryor,
it's just
right? Richard
the
Pryor.
teachings of Richard,
Yes.
The job is the job, life is life. They are two different things, and you're never bigger than the job, and yet the job is not bigger than you. You have to sort of understand that no matter what you do, when you walk through the door at home, you're just you.
Yeah.
I never let doing two iconic films change my perspectives. There were other things in my life that changed my perspectives along the way, especially Richard. He kind of gave me a guidance about life itself, but I will always be that kid from Bridgewater, New Jersey. No matter where I go, what I do, however old I get, or no matter where I live, I will always be that guy.
It was so good to kick this podcast off with my dear, dear brothers. But one of the voices who helped solidify the family aspect of this podcast wasn't an old cast member, but a younger fan, my son Giovanni. I think this is when I truly got a sense of the magic of what we've created in this show. We're not just talking about the past and rehashing a 40-year-old movie. We're going deeper and talking about what makes these moments truly special. Here's a clip from our episode together.
The earliest memories I could think of A Christmas Story that was probably the most impactful to me. It was really fun, having that experience as a kid. It really just made me feel proud. I mean, just to know that you were in a movie, and I don't know, it kind of gave me a sense of just being proud. I don't really know how to put it, Always knew you were like, I wouldn't say like a famous movie star in my mind. I mean, being young, it was like, my dad's a movie star, so it was like a pretty big thing, but like, it didn't really hit home until I saw all the fans that were there and the house that was built and all the commotion around it. It was a little overwhelming, to be honest. As a kid, I didn't even know how to like take it in. It was just like, it was crazy. It was like on a whole new level. Like, I mean, like you were like a movie star to me before then, but then after that I was like, damn, my dad's like a celebrity. Like, like it was crazy. And seeing how passionate the fans were about it, and them meeting me, they were excited to meet me, and I'm like, I was like, I don't even know you. Like, I didn't know what was going on, but these people were so happy to just even meet me. And yeah, it was a pretty crazy experience. I almost felt like I had a little fame going on. Even just as a little kid, I felt famous almost. But yeah, and seeing the house before, like when it first opened, before everybody really got to go in and see everything, we got to get a little private tour of it and check everything out. And that was really cool because it was like spot on to the movie. I felt like I was walking onto the set of the movie. So yeah, I'm like, just being in each room, I could just remember each scene from each movie, or each part of the movie. And it was pretty surreal to see that. It was pretty awesome.
I think it was after these first 4 episodes that we hit our stride, and when we started to think about what this means to be a part of the A Christmas Story family. Because from the very beginning, the family was never just about the cast and the crew and people who brought the movie to the audiences everywhere. It includes the teams who helped put together our incredible events, the scholars and collectors who have traveled far and wide to collect stories about the film, and especially the fans. So we started reaching out to people who actually just loved the movie. We started talking to folks who knew the movie's writer, Gene Shepard, and director Bob Clark, and even folks who have worked with members of the cast, from Peter Billingsley's security guard to our super fan, Holly Osborne, Monica Harvey, who acted in the movie, and one of the producers of A Christmas Story Christmas, Erwin Zwilling. We really started to broaden the scope of what the podcast could be. We also got to talk about the incredible Ruben Fried, the man who designed and created the original iconic leg lamp.
Certainly, this is a story that has real depth and truth, and I just hope that the people who see it over and over again and get that same feeling, because I know it's there, and I'd like to capture it. And of course, the leg lamp is a fascinating item, and people can't get enough of the idea of the leg lamp. The more I look around now that I know you guys, the more I can see that there's a real passion for kind of warmth and truth and homeliness, and that would happen in ideal circumstances.
Looking ahead, Ruben, what projects are you excited about, and what legacy do you hope to leave with your designs?
Well, it's a really big question for me, because in terms of the legacy, I had never thought in my wildest dreams that I would have the opportunity to be where we are, to be where I am. Because what I understand is that I now am the trustee or the guardian of so many people's hopes and ambitions. I mean, I feel responsible for a large group of people. I think that it's a thrilling feeling, and I'm so grateful for it. I hope to leave as a legacy the undisputed joy and recognition and mutual friendship that will be lighted up by connecting all these families together. If I can have a part to play in that kind of closeness with other human beings, I'd be so grateful. I'd really have something to boast to my kids about.
Talking to guests like these really expanded the story and gave fans a chance to learn more about this movie that has captivated audiences for literally generations. We began to find that the balance of opening up the platform to include our fans and the folks behind the scenes, and still bringing you conversations with the actors you know and love from the film. We had a great time talking to Drew Hocevar, who played the male elf in the Santa scene where Ralphie finally tells his Christmas wish to Santa.
So is there anything memorable? I guess it would have had to been the 30 or so times Patty and I had to spin Ian around and pick him up and put him on Santa's lap, and he cried. We were so exhausted by the end of that. It was fun because when we were finished shooting, we went down the slide. Everybody went down the slide. Don't remember if Santa did, but Bob did. The cameraman went down, and they were large men. And when they went down that slide, that whole mountain.
Oh, I can imagine. Oh my God.
Back and forth. It was like,
watch out.
it wasn't, when you walked up and a normal person went down the slide, it was fine, but you got a larger person there, and they hit that curve in the slide, and they just pulled the whole mountain straight away.
Oh boy.
I don't think I was ever really afraid being there, but it did move. There really wasn't anything memorable. The whole thing was just lots of time. I can't tell you what we did on what day. But when you think that they get 30 minutes or 30 seconds of good film a day is considered a good day.
Getting to sit down with his character and the character of Black Bart, played by Dwayne McLean, was such a treat. We also had a conversation with Joey Levy to talk about the events that he has helped us put together over the past. An incredible heartfelt interview where I got to sit down with my mom, Caroline Anaya, about the part that she played in actually making me Grover Dill. So take a listen to that.
And you made some movies, and you were very good, but you never really got into it. In fact, you were kind of irritated with me because you were missing baseball at school, and all the kids were teasing you, and you were caught between the possibility of being famous as a movie star when you were a kid, or going back to school and just playing,
Being a kid,
yeah,
playing sports
and going to the beach. And
what I remember happening was Bob Clark pulled you to the side, and then he walked back into the room, and you came back to me, and you said, you have the job, but you have to cut all your hair off.
oh, you didn't tell them that you had hair. Oh my God, you had the most
Oh,
beautiful
they
hair.
all know. They all know.
It was down here, and it was gorgeous, and it was wavy, and everybody loved his hair. And
So how did I respond to you? Do you remember
I
that?
think you just went white. So wait a minute, cut off my hair? What's he talking about? Why? I mean, I'm here, I'm thinking that you're thinking that here I am on an interview and they like me the way I am. So why would I have to cut off my hair? So you said no.
I did. I said
No,
way.
I'm not going to do this job if I have to cut off my hair. And I'm going, oh my God. All this drama and all this time. And he says no. little stubborn little kid, I would feel like smacking you, but I didn't. Wise up.
So do you remember what you told me?
No, I don't remember what I told you.
Okay. So
I'm not sure I want to remember what I told you.
it was good. It was good stuff. I mean, basically, you said you can not cut your hair off and not have a home to live in, or just kidding. I'm just kidding. So you basically told me, cut your hair off. Your hair's going to grow back.
Yeah,
your hair will grow back.
What's his
Cut
problem?
your hair off.
Yeah.
This is a major movie. It's your first big film on screen. And so we had to have an answer to Bob Clark within the couple of minutes. Like, he wasn't taking a maybe. He wasn't saying that. He wasn't taking, I want to think about it. He was either, yes, Yano Anaya is going to be Grover Dill, or no, I'm going to choose somebody else. And so you were like, you're doing it. Like, it's happening. You're going to get used to not having hair for a little while, but it'll grow back. So I was like, okay, I stuffed down my frustration and my anger and my pain about losing my hair. And I said, okay.
As we continued to share stories with fans, cast, and team members alike, something became crystal clear to all of us. A Christmas Story is a great movie, and just like our fans, Cynthia and Donald, shared in our interviews with them, our fans love more than just the movie. We all love the traditions we have built up around it and the things that we have learned from it. So what makes the movie so special? Who better to tell us that than Quentin Schultz, the man who literally wrote the book on A Christmas Story. He came on the show to talk about his years of teaching alongside the movie's writer and great American storyteller like iconic Gene Shepard. We talked about the deeper meanings of all of the life lessons behind the movie.
There will always be bullies around. You grow up with bullies, but then, of course, you get older at work. And then you find out, hey, man, there are some people that I work with that are kind of like bullies, at least verbally and so on. So Shepard's view was there are bullies in the world, and we have to learn how to deal with them. And some of them will get their due. All right. And so bullies don't understand this, but you can only push people so far, right? And and so Scott Farkas got into a little bit of trouble, he and Grover, because they pushed Ralphie at a time when Ralphie was real sensitive. He had just been hurt because of his grade on the paper and so on, and he was down, and they pushed him, and they got into trouble. But for Shepard, this bully concept is not just personal. It was international. In fact, the thing that got Gene most interested in the problem of bullies was the international scene during the Cold War. It had to do with international politics. And this was during the Cold War between America, or the United States, let's say, and the Soviet Union. And so Gene was looking at this situation, and he was saving newspaper clippings, and he got very interested in this problem of bullies, thinking that partly what was going on is that the Soviet Union had leaders who were bullies. And that got him thinking about all authoritarian governments are basically bullies. They're bullies not only to other nations, but they're bullies to their own people. And so he started fooling around with this and coming up with stories about bullies, about Grover Dill, about Scott Farkas, coming up with different names. He was always clever on how he would come up with a name. Now, he took names from his own childhood growing up in northern Indiana, but he used the names because they had certain meanings for him, not because he was referring to those people specifically. And so in my book, I talk about this Scott Farkas character. And I said to Gene, Scott Farkas, where in the world would you come up with a name like Scott Farkas?
Dr. Q, as we all know him, showed us that A Christmas Story lives on because of the depth of the storytelling and the heart in the film itself. And as a part of the A Christmas Story family, I still feel that. And I felt it so strongly at the 40th anniversary event in Hammond, Indiana, where the cast all got together to celebrate the magic with thousands upon thousands of our fans. Our next conventions featured multiple viewpoints of that event, from the head of security, David Rode, to Leah Frand, one of our performers who became a brand new fan at the event, and even had the chance to sit down with an amazing family, the family of Chelsea Hartman, who drove all night from Minnesota to Hammond, Indiana, just to attend the 40th anniversary. And she's not the only fan who came from far and wide. If you were there, you know what a magical experience it was. And if you weren't, well, luckily our guests can vouch for me.
I think we should let these two. So, okay, just to clarify, Zane here did not venture out. He loves the movie, but he's not for long car rides. So he did stay back. And then when we came back, he goes, I wish I'd have gone now. So he did. He said next time. But these two, what did you guys think of that long ride? But when we got there, what did we see?
Magic stuff.
It was magic. That's what they said. It was just magic when we walked in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So like all the presents, the Santa ride, right? All the displays. It was like that. That was magical. I'm glad you loved that.
Like I would show them what like each character, like who you were. I showed the picture of you in the movie because I'm like, this is who we're seeing. Ralphie, Randy, all of them. It's like I said, this is what they were. So then they knew then when we finally got in line to meet you all, they knew who you guys were because they know you as little guys.
Yeah,
like them. So.
Yeah, that's cool that you did that because it's so true. Because a lot of the times, young kids who actually see the movie and then they meet us, they're like, "That's not him."
I know.
He's too old. He's an old guy. That's not him anymore.
They don't understand that really, but no. And this was like my Christmas present. So I said to Zach, I don't care. I just want to get in the car, and it was the week before Christmas, really, and it was a chaotic time, and I was like, let's just go. So we did. We just loaded up and we drove 8 hours, and he drove the whole way through because then we thought it didn't start till noon, but really by the time we got there, y'all were going to be starting, and it was the piggy eating mashed potato contest.
Oh, awesome.
We gotta go. So we quickly get ready. We ate some continental breakfast and off we went to see you guys. And eat some mashed potatoes.
I want to thank all of our guests who came on the show for really making this what it is. And I want to thank all of you for listening, sharing your kind words in the comments, and connecting with us. I feel like I can't stress this enough that this show has never been about me. And to some extent, it's about the making of A Christmas Story, but it also is about the undeniable power that the movie has brought to us all. We dug deep into some of these topics with our guests, from our team member, Malia, who spoke on the power of great communication, to John Stoddard on what it means to be a part of people's most magical time of the year. We talked about the history of the streets where the amazing movie happened with Tom Novak, the president of the Hammond Historical Society, And we talked about the importance of telling great stories that can stand the test of time with movie producer Andy Turner. This podcast is about the serendipity that has led us all to be connected in this moment. It's about that sticky glue that comes from the heart and binds us together. It wasn't just the friends we made along the way, it's the friends that we continue to make and the connections we forge right now in the present. It's our stories of the past and how they intertwine to shape our plans for the future.
I always have a gift that I hold out for my kids. And when they think Christmas is all over, I'll say, "Man, it is sad that we're as far away from Christmas now as we can be. All the presents are open, and then there'll be another gift. An hour later, and a couple hours later, there'll be another gift and another gift."
Yeah.
But I got that from the movie because he had the Red Ryder BB gun that was hid back behind the desk. What is that? And I like doing that because you carry Christmas on a little bit longer, a little bit longer. And my kids, they're grown now, and they still anticipate. Dad, you got another one? You got another one? And I see grown, my grown children still revert back to being children on Christmas Day, enjoying that magic that I learned from watching this movie. And we keep it on just the 24 hours when we're opening presents, when we're having our meal. I love it. It's playing and seeing you run up down the alleyway bullying people. And I love it, man. It's it's part of our life, but it also is part of my parenthood.
And now, my dear friends, we have reached the finale of season 1, and it may feel a bit like things are coming to an end, but really, this is just the beginning of a bigger and better things that are coming from A Christmas Story family. So not only do we want to continue to connect with you through our social media platforms, YouTube, and our podcast, we have incredible plans to bring new experiences to all of our fans. I'm going to save our future plans for last, but if you haven't heard about our immersion experience yet, I want to tell you a little bit about that because it's already available right now, and it's a glimpse literally into what we have to offer. So picture this: you're walking through the snow-covered streets of the imaginary town of home in Indiana, peeking through the windows of the iconic Parker family house and feelings as though you've actually been transported back into time to the magical 1940s. This isn't just any visit, it's an all-access pass to relive your favorite scenes and moments from the classic holiday film. The A Christmas Story Immersion Experience. Again, the A Christmas Story Immersion Experience is more than a nostalgic trip down memory lane. It's a celebration of the film's enduring legacy and its ability to bring people together, whether you're a longtime superfan or just a new admirer discovering its charm for the first time. So I want to personally invite you to join in the fun, create some new memories, and see why this classic continues to captivate hearts around the globe. Now, before we go today, I want you to listen closely. That's right, lean in. I'm going to let you in on what's coming next. First of all, we took a look at some of our popular episodes and are bringing back a few of our amazing guests for season 2. We've also got some interviews planned for next season that are going to get deeper into the symbolism in the movie and more behind the scenes, exclusive stories that have never been told. Shh, and you didn't hear this from me, but we have some big things going on in Hammond, Indiana, but I can't tell you anymore. So with that being said, don't go far. Stay tuned for more from the A Christmas Story family, and check us out on our Facebook group, A Christmas Story Family, to stay up to date on our podcast and all of the upcoming fun as our legacy continues. Thank you to all the listeners who have listened in, and for those who have never watched the movie, thank you for tuning in and giving it a chance into your life. We love you, and have a fantastic rest of your day.
Who's next? That deal guy.